That was done before we got here.
Okay, that's what I figured. Yeah, it was already done. They just, yeah, you sent the bill in. Every one of them, $3,200. A bill that was done before we took office, but they just now invoicing.
I'm working to do
We
better.
work over at Lions Park.
Yeah, they said they would do all that. They gave us estimates of how much it would change our building. Are you listening? She's saying the Alabama power pays for that. Swap it out.
So there is no initial cost.
I'm going to explain it to us. She said that all we would incur was the difference in how much it would cost us each one. And that's what they wrote down to show us what it would save. I think some of our buildings are within an they wanted a whole city parking lot. So we just had to agree to the fact that some would be a little higher than the monthly bill and what it is now, but the parks have been as we would say. I guess that's what's the full, this council approved the whole thing and they do all. Okay. Yeah, so I've got the whole thing.
Everybody ready? You ready? Satsuma City Council will come to order. Just a reminder tonight, I think most people are obvious or aware of this, but we try to promote the social distancing the best that we can, so we've got our chairs spread out, and thank most of you for spreading out, and some of you wearing the mask, and we do encourage that, and thank you for doing that. So, as we start out all our meetings in the city of Satsuma, we start with invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, Councilman Skelton, I'm going to ask him to say the pledge. If you would, stand for that, remain standing, and we'll go straight into the pledge.
Let us pray. Dear God, we thank you for today, Lord, and we ask that you watch over us and guide us as we handle business of the city. Lord, we also ask that you watch over and guide our first responders as they do their jobs each and every day, Lord, in the crazy world that we live in. We just ask that you lead, guide, and direct us in all that we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Skelton. Can everybody hear okay in the back? Sometimes they say they're not, can't hear us very well, or we don't have it on, so it looks like we're getting a thumbs up there. So thank you. Heather, would you give a roll call, please?
Councilmember Little,
Present.
Councilmember Butler,
Present.
Councilmember Skelton,
Here.
Councilmember Reese,
Present.
Councilmember Phillips,
Here.
Mayor Barlow.
Here. Let the record reflect that all are here in attendance, including the city clerk, several department heads, and the city attorney. Can't hear us very well, or we don't have it. Next item on the agenda is the minutes of the last meeting. We will, have y'all had a chance to look over the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, any questions, changes, additions you want to make?
I'm making a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Skelton, second by Ms. Allison to approve the minutes as distributed. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Let it show that it passed unanimous. Okay, recognition tonight. In our pre-council, we heard from the Ladies Club. We heard from Ms. Walters regarding the entrance to the city. Why don't we bring that up now in the minutes of the council meeting? Ms. Walters, if you would, come back up briefly and just so everyone will know and can tell the projects that y'all are working on real quick.
Hey, I'm Sheila Walters, and I live at 5669 Laurel Drive. And what we have done is we have last fall, we talked to y'all about adopting the one sign, and then we went ahead and included the other sign. And we had cleaned it up, we've tried to weed, we've tried to do a lot of things, but we would like to, at Christmas, we put up the deer and those kind of things. For Valentine's, we would like to put up the hearts, and it's also Healthy Heart Month, so it'll all go all month. And then try to have something up to decorate most months. Can't promise every month, but most months, even in the summer, maybe planting some nice, pretty, colorful flowers or something out there that would live through the summer. And I just wanted to make sure that y'all were aware and that we were up there. So if you see us up there working or doing something, you don't think a bunch of crazy ladies are up there. You're not supposed to be. So anyway, that was what Annabelle had talked about
Okay.
earlier.
Okay, well, it was said in pre-council, I spoke with Ms. Walters a couple of weeks ago regarding that, and just asked that she come before the council tonight to let the rest of you know what they were doing and the projects they had going on. So thank y'all very much, and those signs look great, so we really do appreciate it. I think I can speak for all of us on that. Okay, let me open up the floor now to visitors. So if anyone would like to approach the council, please come up and state your name and your concern or issue, and we will go ahead. Yeah.
Jason Jones.
Okay.
5216 Old Highway 43.
Okay.
If need, I can go back over our situation on 167 Cedar Avenue where the debris was left on the property. Mr. Minus was nice enough to send out the basis of the last discussion as to why the city was going to deny that claim. And I think the basis was that the previous property owner had given you permission to leave that debris behind. We determined that you guys were talking about Ms. Hudson. Ms. Hudson's been nice enough to join me tonight just to clear the air. So, you guys would like to ask Ms. Hudson any questions? We can determine whether or not she gave you permission to leave the debris or not.
Okay. Mr. Jones, as you know, I told you that really came before my days up here, so I'm not, really at this time, I'm familiar with the things you've said coming before the council. So now if, I guess I'd like, we can hear what she has to say concerning the sale of the property, or what she may know, if you feel like that's what you want to present to these.
The denial that I received was that the previous property owner had given you guys permission to leave that debris. So I brought an email from the previous property owner, which was Jeremy, who I bought the property from. And then you guys said, no, not that previous property owner, the previous property owner. So Ms. Hudson's the property owner that you referred to in the denial.
Okay.
Ms. Hudson, what's your address?
8135 State Street, Citronelle.
Judging by this letter that was sent, it was dated 2014. I'm assuming, unless somebody wants to point it out to me, that there was number 5 on this letter that you guys were referring to. Or you can
Yeah,
I think you were.
Or she had requested the spoiled dirt.
That's right.
Yep.
So that she requested that the spoils be spread, but there's no mention of the debris. I think that might have been where the confusion was. I talked to Ms. Hudson about it, and she's just going to let you guys know what she gave you permission to do and what she did.
Well, any good construction man knows that spoils means dirt. And I did ask in 2014, June the 4th, I sent this email to Tom Brian. I understand he's no longer with you. And so, to me, also, I have a deed here that I deeded to the city, the ditch, so it would benefit Satsumans to enjoy the benefit of a drainage ditch. And it's dated June the 5th, 2014. So it didn't look like anyone was gonna step forward and put the ditch in, and as we know, it went in 2020. And I have yet sold the property twice. It's been twice removed from me, so at this point, I wanted to clarify spoils means dirt, not debris. That's pretty much what I've got to say. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Well, the ditch project was certainly something that was needed to help with the drainage over that way. I know it's been, for a number of years, has been an issue. There was some research, and apparently the city felt that they had gotten permission to leave the debris there, is my understanding. And now Mr. Jones has said that it was relayed to him that the city was not going to leave some of the debris that they were thinking it was dirt. Is that my understanding, Mr. Jones?
Yeah, the spoils is clearly stated, but the debris
It is not stated, sir.
is not stated. What does it say in line 5?
It says, it's a letter from Ms. Hudson to Tom Brigman, where it says, I'm requesting the spoils from the ditch be placed on lots 6, 7, and 8, reasonably spread, so I will not have to pay someone to spread it out and prevent it from draining back into the renovated ditch. This is the enclosed layout of lot 6.
It didn't say anything about, she understood that it would have a little bit of debris in there?
And I never got any further information from the city, so I had no idea when they were going to even renovate the ditch. So,
At what, the
But to
date,
address your question, Jason, if you want to take a look at that.
Yeah, I'll look at it again.
so this is dated 2014?
yes.
And when did you sell the property?
I sold it to my grandson, and he in turn sold it,
What was the year that you sold it to your grandson?
2020.
So 6 years, the debris, you would say, sat on your property?
We're not talking about debris, we're talking about spoils
When,
that I asked for, but he's saying.
I think, you're asking when was the ditch, Joe? When did they?
From what point did she say it was okay to, when was it put on the property, and then how long did it stay there until the property was sold?
That's questions we'd have to come up
I don't
with.
know. What we're here to address, though, is that you guys said the previous property owner said that you had permission. So I brought you an email from here. It was the previous property owner and myself. You guys said, well, not that previous property owner, this previous property owner. So
Not by
the
that
two
time.
previous property owners have both now confronted the council and said that they did not give any permission to use the bridge. I don't know where else we can go with this.
What year was the
You guys
ditch
said
dug, I think is what Allison wants to know. When did they dig the ditch?
I'm not sure.
What year?
2020?
Okay, that's what I'm saying. She's wanting to know, was it done in 14, I think.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's 2020.
I think 14 was the year they started the.
Right, they got the letters and all to do the project, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
I really don't have anything else to contribute. I mean, I just like to ask you guys, based on what's heard, to grant reimbursement.
I guess, do they have a record of when they started to place spoils or debris or on the property that would say when construction started, like Public Works record or anything?
We've got minutes of all that. You know,
Maybe look at that, I don't know, for some kind of
Well, how
time.
would
or-
We'd
how
put-
would it impact the decision? Because if it was after she sold it to Jeremy, and you already got a letter from Jeremy saying that. you had permission
Just to
use the bridge.
confirm that it would have been with that date timeline, I don't know. I'm just trying to ask questions.
And you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I'm sure your question is, will the city, I guess, rethink its decision? I mean, what are we trying to
Yeah, just grant
address
reimbursement
right now?
based on, I mean, your original denial was based on inaccurate or confusing information which might receive. It's classified that. So now that it's been clarified, Ms. Hudson's here, we got a letter to Mr. Merrill. They were supposed to pick up the debris, they didn't. And I followed the instructions that was given to me from the Public Works Supervisor to have the loads counted, have the invoice submitted to the city, which led me to believe that Mr. Elmore knew the right thing. He would go ahead and have the loads counted and invoices submitted to the city.
Well, and that's basically what we're going off of too, is our, Public Works Director then, was telling us that,
Well, there may have been some confusion with Mr. Bowe, but Mr. Merrill was told me, and now Ms. Hudson. I don't know if there's anybody else that we could get to come speak.
well, I mean, with all due respect too, we've been over this, what is this, the third time now? And,
It's the third time.
and,
I mean, I'm with you.
you know-
You should do the right thing.
we addressed it, like you say, 2 previous times, and
Based on
we
inaccurate.
haven't, as I would say, another witness now come forward, and we had one last time, and we didn't have that the first time.
That's right.
I just don't know how many more times we're gonna be able to address this, because it's,
This was a request letter. It wasn't necessarily to be done. I had discussed it with Mr. Briand, but it never came to fruition. I was hopeful, even in my time, to get things done. So,
Now, just help me understand what the confusion is. I mean, you based your denial off of you had permission from the previous property owner. Now, it's very evident right now that you didn't have permission from the previous property.
well, as far as our minutes, I think shows different.
I would say too, Mr. Jones, that, the information that was provided initially was that we had permission. Now, you choose not to believe that, but
No, I believe
the
that you had that
information that we
information.
we were provided with.
What the dispute is, it wasn't accurate information.
Well, that's because you believe that. You don't know what was said back then. Ms. Jones says what she recalls, you're
Ms.
talking about Ms. Hudson, that she recalls a long time ago. But one of the other issues that has gone into this is that when you bought your property, your 2 owners removed from when the permission was given and when the work was done, and there's been no discussions about with you to come to the city and say, are y'all gonna remove this material if I buy the property? There was never, you came in after the fact and asked for us to remove something at a later time.
So, I mean, is that the discretion, is that where the line is? Is this a legal issue, or is it a fair and reasonable issue about how you treat your citizens in Satsuma? Which one is it? I
Well,
mean, if we just want it just to be a legal issue.
you gotta think about this now. We have to be stewards of the taxpayer money.
You also,
So-
I mean, it's, Ms. Hudson's right here telling you that what you said was the basis of the denial of the claim wasn't accurate.
Are we talking 18-inch diameter, 20-foot trees? Are we talking sticks and twigs and what?
It was 6 truckloads that had to be taken off.
Was it, I know
They
what was
were-
in it,
They were trees.
because in my business, spoiled dirt includes
Well, it wasn't.
roots, sticks, limbs, that kind of thing that you dig up.
Which is fine.
So-
These are trees, stumps, root balls. Massive amounts of debris.
Mr. Jones, I'm sorry there's been a dispute between you and the city on this. Obviously, I didn't know you were coming tonight, so we didn't have the file here to look at. And, but, we can only, I guess, go on what the decisions that they have made up to this point. And, with our attorney here, he's telling us that, that the council made the decision they thought was best at that time. Now, if some of these discussions and things took place prior to my time being here, we've allowed you the chance to come up and present this to them. I would like to resolve it, and so we don't continue every month coming back and you leaving, upset with the city and not pleased, but from what I've gathered, they feel like they made the decision that I guess their department heads relayed to them at the time. So if there's, any other questions that any of you have, or Jay, that any further input that you can give, certainly, because I would like to have a resolution to this tonight on something.
And as far as additional information, if the city, wants to review it again, that's their choice to do that. It was presented, and from what I recall, Tom and James both said they had permission to leave that there. When this research was done, we have an easement to do that, and there were additional discussions that went on back then. But that's up to the city as to what they choose to do. But I know part of the problem was he's bought the property later, and there was never any agreement with the city for a subsequent purchaser twice, the second purchaser to come in and remove material. Also, there would have been additional cost involved. When they did the work, they had the equipment to remove the trees. That's up to the city.
It sounds like some of the issue was, apparently if they went in 2014 to start getting the right-of-way and all, and the work wasn't done until 2020, and then, the property has changed hands, but we hear 2 times since that. I mean, apparently it's caused some confusion.
Man,
Yes, ma'am.
no one told me they would put any spoils on the land. They never said, okay, let's draw up a document. All right, we're going to do this. This was my asking them to do this. And no one ever said, yes, we're definitely going to do this. Let's sign papers. And usually you do things like that with contract. And I never got a contract to do that. I just was requesting these things be done. The spoils. I even looked it up on Wikipedia. Spoils means dirt.
Yes, ma'am.
But I thank you for having me. Sit down. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think Mr. Jones, it appears, is looking to see if the city would like to rethink its position or study it anymore. And whatever we do tonight, I would like for it to be addressed where either there's something else we're going to study and see if there's anything that will change or not, because, I mean, just, coming up here once a month and you're putting a lot of time and effort in it and to get it resolved, and I know that you feel that you're right in your opinion, and
Well, it's all based off my conversations with Ms. Hudson and previous property owner, James Elmore, that I had at the beginning of this. I'd never be standing here if Mr. Elmore hadn't have told me to count the loads, bring the receipts to the city, and then present them.
well, I mean, it kind of makes, a valid point, I feel like, but, I guess without either Mr. Elmore or Mr. Briand being here to say anything, it kind of puts us at a disadvantage.
It was
Jake?
my understanding that James advised him to do that if he wanted to dispute what had happened, not because we were going to pay it. I think he was told that it would be a council decision, but he needed to be prepared with, whatever the amount would have been.
So was the basis of the denial that you guys had permission from Ms. Hudson to leave the debris?
I think it was that you bought the property with it already like that, and
It's
without,
not in your denial letter, and it wasn't in our last conversations that we had.
I just went by what Jay just said, and
Well,
that's
but you
what I
asked for where the permission was, and that's what we
Right.
went back and got that for you. And I provided you where that had come from.
Dive a little deeper into that, this isn't even permission, this is a letter from Ms. Hudson and Mr. Breehan that nobody ever really signed or received. Nonetheless, I'm just asking that the city take a look at it. I know you guys made a decision before, revisit that if we can tonight. I mean, if you're, make the right decision, I think with the evidence that's been presented, that you, Ms. Hudson didn't give you guys permission, counted the loads, you brought the invoice up. Just approve the reimbursement.
Any other comments from the council regarding the?
If you want to end it tonight, should we vote on it? Or put it off to next council meetings, whatever everybody thinks? I mean, I want it to end one way or the other.
Voted on it.
Right.
Huh?
We've already
It's already
voted
been
on it.
Okay,
I think we need to move on.
Twice. Okay,
Twice.
twice, okay.
okay. Mr. Jones, thank you for coming up tonight. I'm sorry it doesn't appear that there's going to be any movement on the city's position. I'm sorry you're displeased, and
I didn't say I was displeased. I mean, I will walk away stating the fact that you made the wrong decision, and that you had the person here that you based your denial of the claim off of. And you basically told her that what she said is not accurate, not true, that you go off what somebody else said. I mean, she was standing right here in front of you guys.
but I don't really recall any of us
No, you didn't.
saying
By
that, those words, but
by not honoring what she said, what else, what other conclusion should I draw?
that apparently the discussion she had, I think she said was 2014, and now we're in 2021,
Right.
and it's just difficult to go back and revisit whatever was said and done, in the last 7 years now.
I mean, I'll walk away. The letter, though, was, Mr. Minus sent this and said, here's the permission.
Yes, sir.
The permission's just not there.
I understand you're displeased with it.
I'm
Okay.
not saying I'm displeased with it. I'm just saying
You
you guys
think-
made the wrong decision. And it may be a legal matter for you, but it's definitely not fair. I mean, it's not fair and it's not right. Have a good evening.
Thank you for coming. Okay, Ms. Spotswood, I think you're next. If you'd come up and state your name and address.
My name is Amelia Spotswood, and I live at 150 Bio Avenue East, Satsuma. You have in your packets, I am treasurer of the Women's Club of Satsuma, and as you know, we've had the project going on for 5 years of building the Union Chapel. This is our end of the year report to the city, as we promised when we began our agreement that we would report to you. The copy that you have, there has been some additional changes to it. We have set up a furnishing fund, and with that, we are moving $3,000 from the general fund over to the furnishing fund. That's just a note you might want to make. But the reason why I'm saying that is this. The club voted in January to cap the building fund for right now at $120,000. Any fundraisers that the Women's Club does for the year 2021, we will be putting into the furnishing account. We're doing that so that if and when we do get the building started, that we're going to have money to furnish pews and things like that. So, but the report does show that in the building fund, we have $120,024.44. And like I say, we will count that. And with that, as I mentioned earlier, we do have a new sign up there. And we do have a comment at the top, coming soon. So we're being very optimistic that we're going to be able, this is our 6th year. We started this in January of 2015, which was exactly 100 years from the date that the Union Chapel was begun. So just wanted to pass this along and make record of it, that this is our annual report. Any
Okay.
questions?
But thank you for the report. When you
Thank you.
brought it in last week, looks like y'all done very well in your fundraising. Excited to see the day that project gets started, so I'm looking forward to that. Any questions, gentlemen? Allison, on the comments from Ms. Spotswood or the Ladies Club?
No, sir.
Okay, is there any other visitors or business that needs to come before the council from the floor? Okay. Then I will go into the mayor's report. In our pre-council meeting starting at 6, which we do before every council meeting, we've covered some of these things in greater detail, but just for the minutes of the meeting tonight, I would like to go over a few of the things that we have going on around the city hall or that have been going on. Some of the flags at the in front of the city hall and at the end of the cities have kind of gotten aged and tethered, so had the fire chief go ahead and order some new flags, and hopefully they will be in and replaced. When we had a lift truck a few weeks ago removing Christmas decorations and all that we had to get off the power poles and all, we used that time also to do some repair on the flag poles and all. So hopefully we can keep a better appearance on the flags here in the future. And the last, it's come before the council several times in the last couple of months regarding the roof leak at Steel Creek Lodge, that the damage that came from the hurricane. We were able to get that roof repaired, and I understand that we now can look at moving forward, doing some sheetrock repair and all on the inside. So thank you for that. There's been a few changes around City Hall. We was hoping to start the first of the year, but not being able to get people hired and in place and all, and we were not able to start it, but we have started this week. The new office hours at Satsuma City Hall is 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and that's Monday through Fridays. We've also made a change in the phone system where the phone will be answered by someone during business hours. We'll have it set to go to the answering at night for the people to leave a message if they need it, their calls returned the following day. We've also discussed some security cameras here at City Hall and in various locations around the city. I've mentioned that 2 or 3 times since I've been here, and now we have gotten some information on that. We're going to hand that off to the police department for the chief and some of his staff to look into making recommendations on where exactly the cameras could best be used, and also what the cost would be to install those. But I do hope that we can make some of those, because I think they're very good for security and for the things that we're facing in today's world. Earlier tonight, also in pre-council, we discussed the water board, and at our next meeting, we are going to make a change in the water board meetings being held at 5 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. before our council meetings. It's just not giving us enough time to spend on the water and sewer board issues, but we will post those meetings once they're changed. And also the water board's hours have been changed to 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and that's Monday through Friday. We did receive a draft of the audit. The city clerk, assistant city clerk, and myself met with the auditor last night where we reviewed the draft. He covered everything. He did have a couple of real minor changes he wanted to make. Once he showed it to us, he said he would put those in a binder and they would be ready for a council review of that. In pre-council, it was determined after discussion with everybody, if my notes are right here, that March the 2nd, having a pre-council starting at 5:30 that night, and probably most of that pre-council meeting, if he can make it on that night, will be devoted to going over the city audit. Is that okay now with everybody on their schedule? So it gives you time to, because we're still looking for a building inspector. That's a very, very important position. I understand that after talking with Heather today, because they had promised us the list a couple of weeks ago, Then it was last week we was gonna get the list, when then they said we'd have it tonight, so we were really hoping to have it tonight. But they told Heather today that apparently there are several cities that have openings for building inspectors, and that they're doing what did she call it, some type of a large group where everybody will get an open list. So I guess with the other cities requesting that, it has slowed us down, but now they're saying maybe next week, but I'm not optimistic it'll be here before Tuesday. If it,
The list includes February 2nd.
so, right, it's not going to be, it'll take a few days for them to put together the list once it closes. But I am looking forward to getting some applicants for that. Which also, we did get one hiring done last week, and I'd like to introduce Brooke, come up here. I think these are the same people. We won't have to go a lot, but this is Brooke Miller. She's the Assistant City Clerk, who we hoping with her background will be able to work with the building inspector and the planning board and board of adjustments. So I think that was a good move on our part, and welcome aboard, Brooke. Looking forward to a lot of contributions from your background and what you can bring to the cities. I did mention that the disc golf course is looking a lot better, and we've certainly had a lot of activity on that, if y'all have had a chance to ride by and look at that. In your box, Mr. Skelton, I don't know if you we're going to bring this up, the financial report. Would you want to go in more detail on that, or did you want me to just?
Let's hold it off a week. We'll discuss it next week.
Okay, yeah, because she did just get it ready before the council meeting, so it really wasn't fair for y'all to look over everything in any great detail, but she did get it for y'all, so it should be a move in the right direction. The public safety building, how are we going to proceed with that now? We discussed it in the pre-council, and are we going to let the chiefs give you a list and their records for us to look at to see if there's a warranty issue on any of this stuff, or?
That's fine with me, if they want to give me the list. I think I'll need to decide if you want to address the smaller items or just the generator. So whether you want to be involved in that, either way is fine with me. They can give me the information and either in person or talking on the phone about what the issue is with that. I'll send a letter out to the Smith Electric and the manufacturer of the generator that we're not satisfied with the attempted repairs on it, and see if we can get something else further done on it.
Mr. Phillips, you think you could go by and look at the sink issue they're talking about with the, some of that, and just see, because it's, like you said, it may be cheaper and easier for us to repair some of this stuff than it will be to try to go back to the builder or continue just.
Right, 'cause that mop sink, I'm thinking it is $100.
No.
It's not the fiberglass mop sink.
No, sir, it's a marble or ceramic tile sink. They replaced it twice. I don't know what the problem is. It keeps cracking, the same exact spot. There should not have ever been nothing put in there but a stainless steel mop sink in the first place. I don't know why this was ever put in there, but it just keeps cracking in the same spot. So my concern is for that, with the crack, where's the water going whenever they're rinsing mops and cleaning?
I got a thermal imaging gun. I'll come by there and check it. We'll see where it's wet.
Here nor there, something's gotta be done, because there's no telling how much they paid for that ceramic style sink, mop sink to go in there.
Was it cracked? I know you said we've done it. I know, but what I'm getting at, was it cracked when y'all did your final walkthrough and signed off with the
I
building?
didn't do the final walkthrough, I wasn't involved, I wasn't the chief then, but no, it wasn't.
Okay, that's, and the reason I'm saying some of these things, they're not gonna fix, it's just like a warranty on your car. You can go have it fixed at 80,000 miles, but you don't get another 100,000 miles on it, you get to 20,000 when the warranty's up. They're not gonna do nothing else after it, so I just don't wanna waste the money chasing after it if we can't get it
Like
fixed.
I said, I haven't got a response back
Yeah.
from Radcliffe yet, but being this is the third one that was replaced still while the building was under warranty, somebody needs to fix
Well, I'm just telling you the way the world works. Once that warranty's out, if it wasn't broke the day the warranty's out,
It was broken.
you just said, no, it wasn't.
He said
You
no
said
on the
walkthrough.
Yeah, I'll come by and look at it. Let's look at it and see what it costs to fix it. All I'm saying, we don't want to pay more money to have it send letters and all that if it's not that big a deal to fix. That's all I'm saying.
I understand there was a punch list made for the building. Is that,
We've done them several times.
and
When we got them at first, they were okay, but then they broke again. They had cracks on it several times. We tried to email and they don't answer. How many times have we changed it?
This is the third, the original one, and this is the third one. So it's broke in the same exact spot, this will be the third time.
We've asked about it several times. Nobody answered.
It's broke in the same spot. It sounds like it's in a bind from either plumbing or a mounting issue.
They even put a new foundation down, concrete foundation down, and set this thing in. So that it was either something with a level, whatever the place was, supposedly was to take care of the problem. 3 weeks later, the guy said, hey, this thing's broken in. It's not like somebody stands in it, it's a mop sink, there's nothing in it but mops and a mop bucket. There's no reason for it to keep breaking. I would be happy to take it out and put a stainless steel sink in there and be done with it, because this is gonna be a continuing problem most likely.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I think if that's what you kind of recommend, that's probably what we need to do next and be done with it, hopefully. Because we try to go back and do the same thing again.
Especially if they're not gonna fix it, that would be my suggestion.
well, I just remember them being a report that came earlier that I saw that said that there was a punch list that they had their people out and met with the city and that they signed off and the city signed off, and that's I feel like going to be the issue of getting them to do much more of the work if in fact that occurred. I mean, that was before I was here, but that's what they said, so.
That so-called punch list before I was chief too, so.
Yeah, and that, as I remember, that has been done.
Yeah.
That final has been walked through and we've signed off on it.
Thank you, because I mean, that's certainly going to be something that we're going to hear if they did.
But to answer you, Mayor, yes, I would glad to go by.
Okay, thank you. Can you let us know, maybe next week, what you find on that? Also, didn't we have Van Honeycutt that was supposed to be on the agenda tonight on a right-of-way closure, but we didn't?
He wasn't able to be here.
Okay, but he did, at the last meeting, come and request the right-of-way closure, and I know we're trying to get the steps in order to continue the closing of it. I just didn't want it to be left for those that was here.
I made contact with him, he knew not to be here.
Okay. Are we going to try to reset it for next Tuesday, or is that still going to give us time to post it and all?
We've got 14 days to post it, and then.
We haven't posted it yet, though, have we?
February 16th will allow us to have enough days to post it.
All right, if we're going to have it on February the 16th, then next Tuesday, we got to schedule a public hearing. I guess we'll do it like it's 6:45, and do it before the council meeting, because it requires a public hearing, I think, before we can vote on it. Okay? And we're going to check on the plaque for Miss McKinley, and I will give you all that next week. And I will find out when the plaque will be here and also speak with her family. Between pre-council and council meeting, I think we've covered everything. I would mention that we have had some death in our community here recently, and several people that were longtime residents of Satsuma. Miss Peggy Saunders up on Juniper Avenue passed away. Mr. Woodrow Stinson, Sam Sanders, and also Miss Coates on Gilbert up in Virginia Dale. So that was I just wanted to give the condolences to those families, and obviously we've had several families here in our area with a lot of sickness in the last few weeks, so try to remember those people in your thoughts and prayers. That's all I have. All right, Mr. Little.
Mayor, the biggest thing I was going to bring up, and you kind of clarified that, one of my departments is the building inspections, and, you know, this list, that's mainly what I was concerned about, and I didn't realize the problems that was going on with that, but I do now, so. But I do think it's very vital that we get this list and try to get a building inspector in place, because our building inspector in the past wears a lot of different hats, and he or she can help in a lot of these areas, I think, that we need some help in. So that's basically all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
I totally agree with you. Thank you, Mr. Little. Going now to Public Safety, Mr. Butler.
All right. On the fire department, the monthly report for the date of December the 25th until 2020, until January the 26th, 2021. We got 63 calls for the EMS calls. On the fire, we got 21 calls, for a total calls of 84 calls. And then 2 mutual aid, we got 5 calls for that. And FEMA is opening up the firefighters a grant. And Chief Waits has been working with that. And this is a grant. And it's for extrication equipment. The grant will close on February the 12th, 2021. This equipment is about $28,541. So I hope that we can get this grant, because, you know, that's free money. And the fire department gives more equipment for that. So we'll know about it about the middle of February.
Okay.
So other than that, that's all I have.
Okay. Good luck obtaining the grant. Any of that stuff can be certainly very vital in the fire EMS operation. Okay, if you don't have anything else, we'll move on. Administration, Mr. Kelton.
Yeah, just to expand on Brooke, one thing you forgot to mention, that her extensive background in courts, so she's going to be pretty valuable there too. You know, after we interviewed her, a couple days later, I got a call from a good friend and mentor of mine, and she came highly recommended. So, coming from him, that's pretty good. So earlier today, I spoke with the Aldots over the bridge project up here, and they're saying that he's estimating an expected completion date around May, pending no major rain or material delivery delays. So hopefully we can stay on that track there. I made contact with Gould Mills and Kaywood regarding the Go Mesa grant for Steel Creek, and Robbie is working on a contract between them, the city, and the state to approve, and once that's approved, then they can start their survey and design work. And as Councilmember Butler said, the fire department's been working on the grant for the extrication equipment, and a lot of us have been providing input. Hopefully you got some input back. Should have you in mind by the end of the week. So, speaking on grants, one thing that came up, I know that we got the COP grant last year for the police officers, and I know we hired one off of that, and I was just curious kind of where we stood with the other hire on that. I know the list expires at the end of the month, and I just didn't want us to lose anything on that. Good. That was one of my questions there. And
We need that too.
yeah.
We need it.
Yeah.
We're short right now.
And while we were sitting here earlier, I got a text that
This, you know, first I've heard from you two. The chief told me last week that he wanted to hire one, and I told him to proceed with a background investigation.
Yeah.
Is there any difference y'all have heard other than that?
I was asking about the COP grant, the $250,000 that we got.
I thought you were thinking about the 2 police officers for the grant, remember?
Yeah, we hired one under it. We still got the other,
We got one
other,
waiting still.
the other grant spot, and then we got another full-time slot that was a budgeted slot that needs to be filled as well. So basically, there's 2 slots open.
On the grant slot,
3.
what's it pay? In other words, how much money is the grant for the officer,
75%.
which is?
So basically, we would pay our portion of the grant's for $250.
Yeah, I'm just talking about this one officer, you're talking about doing the grant, because in my past experience with public safety, there's a couple of little, and I'm not against hiring the officer, I'm just saying if they pay 75% of his salary, that's nowhere near what we pay. And we're still paying insurance, overtime, there's a lot more to it than the basic salary. Then when the grant runs out, we're still paying the salary.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying is how much is it and for how long it lasts?
It's 3 year. So after the 3rd year, he's yours.
Yeah, and this would be the second year?
We got it in July of 20.
Okay.
So just, yeah, I was going over my grant stuff and that popped up.
So it's deceiving sometimes, so like I said, the 75, is it really 75%?
So our portion is 14,000 something plus, insurance.
Yeah.
So.
Well, while we're on that discussion, also I told the chief that I'd like to look at somebody that already had minimum standards training, because hiring somebody and then us having to wait to the next available school and all really doesn't make a productive officer out there. So he said he had one, and that had that. So I said, well, why don't you proceed with a background so we can review it, and then we'll come back. So,
Okay. Hey,
okay, well, I mean, if there's any other questions about hiring, I'd like to address them right now in front of everybody, so
fine.
we'll all know, because there's been some challenges that we've faced here in the last 90 days with some of the retirements and moving people around and some of that, so it's,
So while we were sitting here earlier, I got a text about the concrete drainage structure over at Bayou and 6th was hit this afternoon by a Thompson Cat 18-wheeler, and apparently it's been wiped out.
Oh, man.
So we need to, if we can,
Where was it at, Jason?
at Bayou and 6th,
And it was hit by what?
a Thompson Cat 18-wheeler, I guess turn in over there somewhere. So we just need to look at that tomorrow.
Are them trucks allowed in that area? They're asking you where, certain areas, certain neighborhoods, 18-wheelers aren't allowed to even go in.
There's no signs over there.
Yeah.
So if they were if they're delivering equipment,
Yeah. Yeah, that's different. I'm just talking about, yeah.
so we could check that out. That would be- That's all I have.
so you'll check that out and let us know what the damage is on that. Okay, if nothing else,
That's it.
Allison?
For those that came to the Sarah Lane Municipal Dinner, thank you. Dr. Eishold was there, and he delivered a message about COVID and vaccinations. He is with the Mobile County Health Department, in case you didn't know. Also, the library will be launching a program starting in February called 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. This is a program for babies in the womb, all the way up to 5 years old. You come by the library and you sign up, or your mother signs you up, mother or father. For every 100 books, is a milestone, and you'll get your picture taken and put on the wall. So visit the library or go to their Facebook page for more information. Also, with the library, their annual membership drive is going on now. They usually have an annual dinner, but this year it is not going to happen due to COVID. So stop by the library to renew your membership or become a new member. Also, registration is going on now for youth baseball over at Lions Park. The next 2 sign-ups are going to be this Saturday from 10 to 2, and again on Tuesday, February 2nd from 5:30 to 7:30. And then the girls will start registering for softball over at Wright Park Thursday, February 18th from 5:30 to 7:30, and Saturday, February 20th from 9 to 12. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
All right, Public Works, Mr. Phillips.
Mayor, also, with Mr. Little, one of my items to bring up was the building inspector, so I'm glad you updated us on that. And I'm sitting here reading the list. If everyone's noticed, our city's really looking good. I think the Public Works Department's done an excellent job getting the city where it is. I mean, they picked up trash, weed eating, removed decorations, down along the highway, the leaf vacuum. The golf course, which you spoke about, looks great. I just wanted to tell them it's a job well done and how much we appreciate it. And I had one other little item I wanted to bring up, and of course, everyone knows the last council meeting I was in quarantine. And we did a Zoom meeting. Well, I wasn't aware of it. No one contacted me, told me how we could do it. I had no idea. And I think it'd be nice if we had some type of protocol or directions put in to where we make sure our council members are aware of it and how to do it. Because, like I say, I didn't even think about it. And then I was after the fact, but I really would appreciate it if I'd been contacted and said, we're having this. I don't know who initiated and how it's done, but that way we'd be sure nobody's missed when we're doing that. Or who, if it's going to be me that wants to do the Zoom meeting, who do I call? How do I set it up? Because I have no idea. So I'd like to see that put into, some form of what we do and how it's done.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I guess I was unaware that we were going to have some attending by Zoom that night until we came in for pre-council, and
Right, I mean, and all that's fine. I'm just
sorry, I wasn't made
saying,
aware.
I'd like to know if I want to do it, say like for some reason I go back in quarantine next week, Lord forbid, who do I call? How do we set it up? What do we do? 'Cause raising your hand, chief, ain't telling everybody. That's what I'm saying. I'd like to see something put out that tells us what to do, and how to do it. I don't even know, to be honest with you, how to even set up at my house to do the Zoom, for the city.
I think that would be important to attend a Zoom, say even if you had a cold, now that we have, the ability to do a Zoom meeting. If Jason had the sniffles or you had a fever, not bad enough to, not come
agree.
in, but hey, stay away.
I'm not against it. I just want to know how to do it and
Saying
be
I think-
involved in it, is what I'm saying.
I think we should
Yeah.
take advantage of that,
Yeah.
under those
Mhm.
circumstances, but.
Maybe if someone knows they can't attend the meeting that day, just contact me, and then I can get in touch with Chief, who can set up the Zoom, and then I can email or text everybody and say, hey.
I'd like the directions. Go ahead and have mine set up now, not the day I want to use it. That's what I'm
You
saying.
have to set it
I
up.
think you,
Yeah,
Do
you can't set it up prior?
or text it.
You have to download Zoom.
Yeah, you can get it by email, and then you click the link, and then it'll open. So download the Zoom app, and then go ahead and create an account.
Well, that's another issue with me, which me and Heather talked about today. I have no access to email at my big computer to City Hall, to Outlook. That's something else we're trying to set up. But I think it'd be nice to have a protocol on how to do it. I mean, I understand y'all pretty savvy in it. Well, I'm not. So I'd like to know the direction doing it, in case I want to,
Yeah, we can make one.
I just do mine on my phone. I don't have Outlook on my computer, which would be nice.
Also, that ability to do the Zoom is part of the governor's mandate with COVID. It has to be COVID-related to give you the right to attend by Zoom.
Okay.
So having a cold wouldn't work.
Well, I mean, you get a cold,
Yeah.
everybody thinks you got the
Yeah,
COVID. And
just
you
in
may not
case,
know,
just
but
in case.
It is COVID-related
Mm-hmm.
permission to do that. And I think that'll stay in place as long as it's tied in with that directive where she did the mask. And, because I checked on it the other day, it's still in place and probably will stay in place as long as we're under a mask mandate.
Okay, just, it's just food for thought. And I just got a text here too, I think it's pretty important. It said Mr. Ken Smitherman died today. So you just call him the death. He lived right there on March End at the stop sign to the right. So,
Yes,
and he's been in there for about 2 weeks with COVID.
Very sorry. He was a longtime resident. Also, I'm sorry I didn't have that. I hadn't got
No,
that
it's
today.
just, hey, like I say, I just found out. So that's,
So we can set up a protocol and let you look over it and.
Yeah, I mean, we do need to make sure, and I feel like in the future, it's probably going, something we're going to face again. It looks like, unfortunately, it's just the environment we're in, so. But I assure you, we didn't know it was going to happen, or I would tried to make sure that, we let you know or notified you of that, so we will.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I just think we need something in place, so.
Okay. All right, is there any other business from any of the council members, anything we need to readdress or clarify?
Mayor,
Yes, Chief?
while we were here, I got a text, if you do extract from Raven Island, back call, they have the services, I believe, Friday until an air.
I'm very sorry to hear that. Yeah, Chief Allen was our chief neighboring city here in Saraland for 40-something years, if I recall. Yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that about Chief Allen. Okay, thank you very much for both letting us know and bringing that out, so. All right, well, looks like we've got most of the business, and I think the rest of these things we've discussed before. Number one, items for discussion and/or consideration. Number one, payment of the bills.
Make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $155,048.93.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Butler to pay the bills in the said amount. All those in favor signify by aye.
Let me discuss that real quick, if we can.
Okay,
$40,329.23 was a check to Goodwill Mills and Kaywood for our first round of debris monitoring. And $54,286.51 was our city insurance policy renewal for all of our structures.
Okay.
Now you can go ahead.
yeah, well, I think we'd already voted, but all those, we'll recall it. All those in favor, now that Mr. Skelton's
Aye.
clarified?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let it show it passed unanimous. Okay, we had the second item for consideration was a payment of ServPro for 3 invoices totaling $7,399.70. This was for the COVID cleaning of the City Hall, the Public Safety Building, the Public Works Building, and getting those issues taken care of. And on the days we did that, we also had gotten some of the products and tried to clean all of the city-owned vehicles, and we also asked the Water Board to do that. We also put in place several other requests for the employees to do. Obviously, we can't always follow right behind them, but we've limited the number of people that can be in the trucks. If they have, by some chance, to have to ride multiple people in a vehicle, like in the fire department or something, we ask that they put on masks to do so. Just trying to do everything we could to clean the buildings, the vehicles, and the things that we use every day around the City Hall. So that's what that payment is for. I think I discussed that with y'all.
Make a motion, we pay the bill.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
Little. Seconded by Allison. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. It shows the item passed unanimous. Number 3 is consideration from Chief Harold to surplus a 2010 Dodge Charger and gives the said VIN. I think this is one that he's talked about taking out of service for quite some time. No problem with it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was just going to say, Mr. Butler's making a motion. If there's a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Little. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
That showed passed unanimous. Consideration from Leah Givens with the Satsuma High School softball team to purchase a banner for $85. No one from the school will come over. That was just a request they sent over. Usually I know somebody attends or represents the school in that.
She dropped it off.
If y'all have had a chance to look, I don't know all the people working, but every afternoon last week when we was here, they had people over on that field, and they were there Friday late. They was there all day Saturday and Sunday. They've really got that field looking good, so I don't have a problem if anybody wants to make a motion for the $85. I think it's a customary thing that's been done for several years, I understand.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Butler, and I think it was seconded by Mr. Phillips to purchase the banner for $85. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Okay. That consideration on the payment of Goodwin Mills, Kaywood, I think Mr. Skelton said he'd like to review that.
Mayor, I'd make a motion, we table this for 1 week.
Second that.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Skelton and seconded by Mr. Little to table this, so the council can have time to further study this payment that was made in reference to the monitoring of the debris cleanup. I guess it would require a vote if if it's an agenda item and we're gonna table it for a week. So all those in favor of table for 1 week signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we table it for 1 week. Item number 6 is the consideration of the transfer of firefighter J.P. Miller effective February 6th from the full-time firefighter to a supernumerary firefighter. Is that all it's going to require is us to do that? And then we probably need to add on to that, I would think, Chief, that we're going to go ahead and call for a list after
Yeah,
that.
so we have to do this process first, and then we can call for a list of hires. I have an opening for another part-timer that I'm gonna move him into, but I can't call for a list until after the city, as well.
I thought once the resignation letter was in, we could go ahead and call for the list, because, I mean, on smaller cities that don't have a lot of vacancies, it could cause us a problem, because you know you're going to have the vacancy there coming up, a shift you're going to have to fill.
He's not resigning, he's just asking to be transferred to a supernumerary.
To a
status, and
supernumerary.
We can go ahead and call for it.
Right, and then because he's vacating that position.
That's correct.
You see what I'm saying? So we can go do both of them.
Okay.
Okay, that's all
I
I'm
just
trying to,
misread today then.
okay. Okay, well, all those in favor of the transfer of firefighter J.P. Miller going from a full-time fireman to a supernumerary status. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed.
We make
Make a motion.
All right, and then I was going to say, well, and now can we have a motion?
I'll make a
And-
motion.
All right.
A second.
Motion made by Mr. Bowles, seconded by Jason to call for the transfer of the said firefighter, Mr. Miller, to a supernumerary status. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Now, do we want to call for the list to go ahead and, for the replacement of firefighter Miller?
I'll make a motion to call for the firefighter list.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Allison to call for a list to fill that position as firefighter. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Also, we had a pictures made, in case any of you didn't know that today, so we can try to update for our ads and perhaps do some website or webpage updates for the city in the near future. So, is there any other business that needs to come before the council tonight? We did receive a thank you card that was just set here on my desk from the library board regarding some of the gift cards and related to the Christmas that we had. So if y'all want to see the card and some of the written comments, here it is.
Safety award,
Pardon?
safety award.
Okay, the safety award, yeah.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. We are adjourned.